Vulture funds are, in my opinion, a nightmare right around this country to a lot of people. Basically, what we were doing for anyone that would represent people that were in mortgage difficulty or in arrears, we were like going to a middleman, and it had to go on to the person that bought out this loan. I noticed in the last week that there was some report done that the government were talking about that they had ticked all the boxes. Yeah, they had. The Capita or Asset Services that ring you, or they send you a letter, and you'll be over and back and over and back, and you'll be making proposals. But at the end of the day, they ticked all the boxes, but they still call the shots. Deputy McGrath might just clear or tell me on one thing that he mentioned there. He said you'll have direct contact with the person that owns the loan. Does that mean that the likes of promontory and those will have to face the person that owes the debt face to face? But the only one problem is in all of this is that while there is medicine, I would call it, that you can solve people that may be under a certain threshold that will be eligible for mortgage to rent, we are still in a problem, even though they may tick all the boxes, with people that are struggling in Middle Ireland that don't qualify for mortgage to rent, which is a problem. And we still have a problem for the farmers and the SMEs that they are inclined to try and drive the boot into them. Once you're above a certain threshold, if you own a house, even a family home at 25,000, you're not eligible for mortgage to rent. We have worrying stuff as well coming, and I think, Minister, you need to be aware of this, that some councils around Ireland, even if a person qualified for was eligible for mortgage to rent, letters were sent back from councils in some parts of the country, not all, that the houses may be too rural, which is a damnation to hear. A council send them back to the housing agency telling them that. I know in some cases it has been sorted, but I would like your department to send some bit of paperwork to all councils that if you're eligible for mortgage to rent, be it up a Boreheen or be it in the middle of a town or a city, once you're eligible for mortgage to rent, you are cleared on that. I welcome what Deputy McGrath has done, and he might just clarify what I asked there. Thanks.
Well, Deputy Fitzmaurice raised a very particular point with me in relation to mortgage to rent and the participation of certain forms of homes within it. I wasn't aware of the issue that you've raised, but I will follow up on it to see if I can help with it. I would have thought that the location of the home shouldn't be the issue in deciding whether a home can participate in mortgage to rent. So I'm surprised by what you said there, and I will follow up on it.
And on the issue of who the contact is going to be with, I think it's worth pointing out that the benefit to the funds currently of appointing a credit servicing firm is that the fund can avoid regulation. They can remain with the status of being an unregulated loan owner. When this legislation becomes law, that will no longer be the case because the loan owner, the people ultimately making the decisions on the strategy and the portfolio, will require to be regulated. That will involve the imposition of requirements by the central bank. It is an onerous process to become a regulated entity, and the central bank will set certain standards and require certain things to be done to ensure that regulation is fully put in place and vindicated in that respect. I think it is worth
clarification, and I will forward you an email in relation to what some local authorities are doing. The one thing, Minister, that we haven't addressed is what I'm back to in Middle Ireland, that if you're above the threshold, there is nothing there. They will try and tick boxes, and after that, there is no solution for a lot of those people. Ironically enough, I got a text in there on the phone while we were talking. A person that's 70 years, they owe 16,000, and the bank is telling them they'll have to get out of the house. That there's nothing there for that person once you're over 70. But we need to make sure those people, there are people that could owe 200,000, and some of these vultures have bought it for 110 or maybe 80, maybe 90. And those people would fully function in Ireland at 150,000. But the only problem is you cannot get your hands on money, as Deputy McGuinness pointed out. Basically it's like someone that has a disease. They don't want to touch you, the other banks, no matter how you try. And we need to make sure we bring something in. No more than when there's a settlement, it's recorded. And if someone done a settlement with the banks or the Vulture funds, it's recorded. And if you went for money, someone is able to tell you everything back, and it sort of puts a wobble in the person or in the institution, when it shouldn't. Because if you have it cleared and done, well, obviously you have a chance of making money. And I think that while I welcome what's in this bill, I welcome both Deputy McGrath and your own input into it, but we have other parts of this jigsaw to try and put together if we're thinking about bringing back people to living without the fear. Because what we see it day in, day out, the fear, the trauma, the break-up of families, the hardship, and unfortunately sometimes we see worse than that.
Thank you, Deputy.